When you go to Chick-fil-A, you probably plan on ordering chicken. It's practically a foregone conclusion, given that chicken is right there in the fast food restaurant's name. And chicken is chicken, right? Maybe not. Here are a few of the things you're really eating when you stop at Chick-fil-A. It shouldn't come as a massive surprise that some Chick-fil-A products include sugar. Obviously, they sell sodas and shakes, fruit cups, and cookies, all of which are rife with sugar content. Plus, sugars are commonly found both naturally and as additives in breads, fruits, and vegetables. But what may throw you for a loop is the fact that Chick-fil-A's chicken includes added sugars. And it's not just the breaded chicken that has sugar in it, which makes sense given that breading adds carbohydrates to the food you're eating. It's Chick-fil-A's grilled chicken that includes sugar listed as an ingredient in the chicken. Take, for instance, an order of grilled chicken nuggets. Theoretically, it should only include chicken as an ingredient. But if you look at the list of ingredients included in an order of grilled chicken nuggets on the Chick-fil-A website, you'll see 25 different items included, such as spices, preservatives, and, you guessed it, sugar. Granted, the total sugar content is just 1 gram, so it's not like they've added a massive amount of sugar to their grilled chicken, but it's something to keep in mind, especially when ordering some of their other sandwiches. For instance, the grilled chicken sandwich and grilled chicken club both contain 9 grams of sugar, according to the company's nutrition information webpage. It may seem strange that Chick-fil-A's grilled chicken has so many ingredients, but if you think about it, it's not that weird. When you prepare chicken at home, do you ever prepare it completely plain without any added spices or marinades? Probably not. Really, the 25 ingredients included in Chick-fil-A's grilled chicken are there as part of the brine used to give the chicken the delicious flavor you just can't get enough of. And what's at the base of that brine? Apple cider vinegar. Apple cider vinegar, along with a slew of other flavorings including molasses, dehydrated onion, sea salt, lemon juice, and paprika, among others, help to give Chick-fil-A's chicken the consistent, moist, and full flavor you've come to expect. And let's be honest, grilled chicken nuggets without a tangy brine would be pretty bland. Prepped and cooked like this, it's something you're actually willing to pay for. Chick-fil-A waffle fries should consist of potatoes, salt, and oil, right? Welp, that's where you're wrong. Chick-fil-A's list of ingredients for this side dish includes potatoes, 3 different oils, dextrose, sea salt, and a chemical for color retention. All more or less benign until you notice that the canola oil is actually listed as high oleic canola oil with, wait for it, dimethylpolysiloxane added as an anti-foaming agent. What's an anti-foaming agent, you ask? Great question. When the late former Mythbusters host Grant Imahara dissected McDonald's use of 19 ingredients in their french fries, he explained it's an additive in oil that helps prevent the oil from splashing. Again, it seems fairly benign. It's worth noting that the FDA has approved its use in small amounts. So this seems like one of those things where people see an 8-syllable word in the ingredients and get concerned. Chick-fil-A's Kale Crunch Side Salad is arguably one of the healthiest items the quick-serve restaurant has on its menu. And most of the salad's ingredients are exactly what you'd expect: kale, green cabbage, almonds, and apple Dijon dressing. But wait a hot second before you chow down and take a full look at the ingredients in that apple Dijon dressing, as listed on the Chick-fil-A website. After oil, apple juice concentrate, maple syrup, a few different vinegars, salt, and other seasonings, white wine appears inconspicuously at the end. To be fair, it's hardly unheard of for salads or dressings to include cooking wines. But for a restaurant with a highly conservative Christian ownership and reputation, it might catch some people off guard. Those who abstain for personal reasons, or those who subscribe to a Christian faith that eschews the use of alcohol in any amount, may want to ask for the apple Dijon dressing to be switched out for a dressing without a dash of wine. But good luck knowing which dressing that might be. None of the other dressings feature ingredient lists on the Chick-fil-A website. While you can't find Chick-fil-A's Icedream cone listed as an option on their website, the company notes that this frozen treat is one of their most popular menu items. To be clear, this is Icedream, not ice cream, which is perplexing. Why did they decide to call it something different instead of the usual soft serve or just plain ice cream? The ingredients, which can be found listed on their site as part of their frosted coffee, frosted lemonade, and milkshakes, sound awfully close to regular ice cream, including milk fats, sugar, and a lot of preservatives, flavorings, and additives to create the soft serve consistency. All in all, it's a no harm, no foul type of ice cream adjacent offering. And if they were just looking for a catchy name to draw interest to their product, it looks like they've succeeded. You know the golden stream of buttery topping that gets pumped on top of popcorn at the movie theater? That's butter oil. It's basically just a bunch of different oils and salts and flavorings mixed together to taste like butter. But it's not really butter at all. For companies like Chick-fil-A, this butter oil, which is listed as an ingredient in their menu items like the hash brown scramble bowl and the chicken biscuit, is cheaper to buy, easier to preserve, and has a melty consistency that is just so dang addicting. Chick-fil-A's butter oil includes soybean oil, palm kernel oil, soy lecithin, natural flavor, and beta-carotene for that buttery yellow color. Nothing overly concerning here, except when you note that the menu items that include butter oil also include lots of other fats and oils as part of their ingredient list. This means that the fat content is borderline obscene. For instance, the sausage, egg, and cheese biscuit contains 43 grams of fat, 19 of which are saturated. If you're trying to keep your fat and calorie intake under control, you might want to steer clear of this 630-calorie biscuit meal and other similar items. Still can't resist? Just imagine someone making your food with a giant glob of movie theater butter. Sure, it tastes good, but it looks pretty nasty. And it's not exactly a health food item.
A bunch of butter and oil.
I'm sorry, did you say butter and oil?
No, Seth, butter and oil.
Arguably one of the least healthy items on the Chick-fil-A menu is a relatively new item, the restaurant's mac and cheese. If you've ever made mac and cheese from a box at home, you know it's not exactly filled with fresh ingredients. So if you were hoping Chick-fil-A's dedication to high-quality ingredients would ensure their mac and cheese would be free of processed cheese, it's time to set those hopes aside. After macaroni, processed cheese is the second listed ingredient on the company's website. Granted, it's still probably better than the made-from-a-box option you buy at a grocery store. Chick-fil-A does include other cheeses like cheddar, Bella Vitano, Romano, and grated Parmesan. And to be fair, it's hard to get that creamy consistency of a delicious mac and cheese without using a processed cheese. But if you're the type who steers clear of fake foods, you might want to make your mac and cheese at home. During the fat backlash of the 1980s and 1990s, the saturated fat in real butter, as well as the saturated fat in other solid fat products like Crisco, received a drubbing in the media. People were terrified of eating too much fat, especially saturated. In response, companies started promoting margarine, which was solid at room temperature like butter but had fewer saturated fats, because it was made by altering the chemical makeup of oils so that the oils would be solid. The world rejoiced. The total fat content was more or less the same, but with lower saturated fats, margarine was considered healthier. Unfortunately, it took several more decades to prove that in the process of changing the chemical makeup of these oils, trans fats were created. And trans fats are actually associated more closely with heart disease than saturated fats are. Unfortunately, some of Chick-fil-A's products, like their mac and cheese, include margarine as an ingredient, which means they might include trans fats, which don't have to be included in nutritional information if they total less than 0.5 grams per serving. That's a good thing to know if you're watching your trans fat intake. If your kids have been falling all over themselves to order the chocolate milk at Chick-fil-A, it might be because of the little-known secret for making a thicker, creamier drink: cornstarch. Cornstarch is a thickening agent, so whenever you're looking to make a thick, creamy soup, sauce, or drink, it's possible to add a little cornstarch in the process to achieve the desired result. Considering that Chick-fil-A's chocolate milk uses 1% milk, which is lower fat, and therefore less thick than whole, by including cornstarch in its list of ingredients, your kids get to enjoy a creamier milk texture than what's provided by fat alone. So maybe the delicious texture and flavor are due to cornstarch, but it's possible they're also due to a few of the other ingredients in Chick-fil-A's chocolate milk, like natural vanilla, carrageenan, or even salt. Restaurants like Chick-fil-A have to make affordable food that tastes great to keep luring customers back to their doors and drive-thrus. And there are a few tried and true methods for making food taste great: salt, fat, and sugar, none of which are particularly good for you in large quantities. And while Chick-fil-A does earn marks for sourcing their food more responsibly than many restaurants, and for trying to offer healthier options, they're still a fast food restaurant vying for market share in the world of McDonald's. This means many of their products are loaded with sodium, fat, and sugar, which translates to an obscene number of calories, sodium, and fats. Take, for instance, the Chick-fil-A Cobb salad. It's a salad, right? So it must be good for you. Well, sorry, but maybe not. This salad has 540 calories, 29 grams of fat, 8 of which are saturated, 7 grams of sugar, and a whopping 1,700 grams of sodium. Considering the FDA recommends limiting sodium to less than 2,300 grams of sodium a day, this healthy salad practically wipes out your daily allowance. And that's one of the salads. If your doctor has recommended you keep an eye on your fat, sugar, calorie, or sodium intake, make sure you do a little research on the Chick-fil-A nutrition webpage before you place your order. One area where Chick-fil-A shines in the fast food world is the high fiber content in many of its menu options. An article on Harvard Health notes that most Americans eat between 10 and 15 grams of fiber per day, while recommendations for positive health benefits indicate that adults should consume between 21 and 38 grams of fiber per day, depending on age and sex. That's a pretty big discrepancy between recommendations and actual intake. So when restaurants make a concerted effort to offer foods with higher fiber content, that's a good thing. Almost all of Chick-fil-A's food items include at least a gram of fiber, but many include much more. Take for instance the 2 different grilled chicken sandwiches listed on the company's website, each of which provides 4 grams of fiber. Or if you want an excuse for a more tantalizing treat, the strawberry milkshake and chocolate milkshake each provide 4 grams of fiber as well. Pretty impressive, right? Well, these all take a backseat to the grilled Cool Wrap, which has an almost unbelievable 13 grams of fiber. It might actually be the healthiest, most well-balanced menu item Chick-fil-A offers. Pair it with a side salad or fruit cup, and you can feel really good about eating fast food for lunch. Check out one of our newest videos right here. Plus, even more MASH videos about your favorite eats are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.